Bitcoin is dumping. Oprah now accepting cryptocurrencies for her rebuilding of Maui. And we have one of the most insane graphs in all of the interwebs. All this and more on today's Blockchain Basement.
Bum, 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 bum. You ready for this? I'm ready. Welcome.
If you're gonna screw me, at least pull my hair.
Hell yeah. What you got?
They could start chopping off fingers. They're like, give me your seed phrase, but I don't know it.
About to give the numbers out. And I was like, no, hang up the phone right now.
Or like when it dropped in 2020, was it like exciting?
400,000 to 600,000. The generational signals are now.
Level. So I don't even know if we're gonna get back below there. But if we do, that's kind of where we
Welcome one, welcome all. Thank you for joining us today on Blockchain Basement. It's a Friday. It's been a heck of a week, and I'm glad that it's Friday. Going to be hanging out with the fam, getting some things done. But we are joined with a fantastic crew here in the HIT Network, the people behind the entire machine that is our research content creation system here. And we have Aaron, the right-hand man on the blockchain bunker videos. We're working hard on those things day in and out for you guys. Aaron's just doing amazing work. We're getting in some. We're gonna have a pretty intense video coming out this weekend.
Yeah.
On Saturday, so pay attention to that one. Kind of plays into this title that we have today too.
It's a good one for sure.
It's how to buy, how to spot generational buying opportunities, and what we have today, additional to Saturday, should give you a very good overall encompassment of what to expect in the markets overall in the next few months and how to leverage and profit off that. But we also have Adam, the man behind the thumbnails. You know what I mean?
Every week.
The thumbnail guy.
Was that Care Bears?
Oh yeah,
yesterday.
Care Bears
That was amazing.
That sparked joy. That sparked joy. And then Hannah, thank you for joining us, Hannah. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely.
Happy to be here.
It's a great day. And then Owen, of course, hardworking man, filming everyone, running around the building. He came sprinting into the room. I'm not kidding when I say this. So
Show your face, Owen.
yes, show your face.
Show it.
Every time.
Yeah, also shout out
Every
Fantasy
time.
Blitz.
There it is. Yeah, you guys were live last night, right?
Yeah, he said what up, other Fantasy Blitz guy?
Yeah,
What up?
love it.
What up?
We got some good people. And that's what makes the Bit Squad. I found this hat and I had to put it on. I mean, the Bit Squad's the best people.
Oh, Hudson, he's in the chat.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
is he? Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it is. There we go.
Hey!
There we go.
King D, we see you. LJGG, Beastmaster, Stoked RB 150 HP Club. Wow. DF Dan, Crypt Daddy, all these crazy thumbnail investor. I think they're making their names harder and harder to say. Mike Vollmer. Thank you very much. Give Owen a raise, please. Yeah,
He
Mr.
would
Fifty.
highlight that.
We
man.
found Owen's alt.
Mr.
Yeah.
We found his alt.
Yeah.
One of the realists. Michael King, thank you for all. Michael King is on Instagram heavily, giving me all the alpha on Instagram. But it's usually stuff I've seen, but it sparks joy. Everything he sends me sparks joy. So thank you for joining us today, you guys. Been a fast moving day. I was on live with Piano Matty B first thing this morning. We were talking about obviously the week here, but then what I'm expecting from markets and kind of giving getting his perspective on the potentials for the banking sector that I was talking about earlier this week, which I feel is a very, very big story that's not talked about enough. And then we did a live show. It was a great energy, and obviously it was really great to hear, from Ben last night on our channel. So if you haven't had a chance, go check out the BitBoy Crypto video section. You'll see what I'm talking about. Very good to see that come out. And then obviously we had CZ giving us some love here this morning. DZ pointed this out to me and I was super excited. CZ himself, the man, the legend, just saw this informative video about BNB by BitBoy, BNB starter pack, biggest coin in crypto.
I missed that. Wow.
Yeah, man, isn't that pretty cool? Right?
I missed that. I think he retweeted it because the cap on the head was perfect.
Yeah.
It doesn't even look Photoshopped. It doesn't look Photoshopped.
Did you do
Yeah,
this?
so it was whoever made the
I
thumbnail.
think Steven made that one. I don't know.
Steven's a magical person, but
Oh yeah.
you know, I felt pretty solid about our calls in the crypto markets in general. I just want to touch on this and kind of recap what we're talking about here. We're talking about downward pressure. We're talking about Bitcoin making itself look like XRP after the XRP news had broken as far as the grayscale ruling against the SEC and their ETF requests. Look at that.
Yikes.
Wow.
Look at, do you see?
That is quite the dump.
Do
Wow.
you see? This is exciting to me. This is the type of stuff that gets me in the mood to getting ready to buy. And obviously, if you're in a DCA, process, we'll take a look at this real quick. If you're in a DCA process, really any time, is not a terrible time. It's just maybe you wait these cycle peaks less heavy than you do when the markets dip really heavily. And in general, my form of DCA is really just buying zones of accumulation. Like I DCA heavily here and obviously DCAing heavily here. But, if you're overall, let's take a look at this. Time in the market beats timing in the market. And I 100% agree with
TJ told me that one time, and I was like, man,
it's a great,
so true.
great thing to
Get
keep
it tattooed on your arm.
Yes, you got to keep this reminder going on. Bitcoin cost basis, weighted average cost. Okay, so yellow line is just the overall average cost if you continuously DCA. And those who have been DCAing since the December 2017 all-time high have a cost basis overall of $11,000 per Bitcoin, $11,500 per Bitcoin. Those DCAing since the December 15th, 2018 cycle low have a cost basis of $13,000, just slightly higher. Okay, so really, even the people that just are staying consistent with it, and this is me, during these cycle peaks, guess what I'm doing? I'm buying guns. I'm being ridiculous in the
True.
in the sports stores. You know what I mean? So, this isn't my overall thesis, but it's much more profitable. And this is me showing you kind of how I lose out, but I get much more hard-sided iron goods out of the process. So you kind of weigh those two differences. I think that what we see going on in the macroeconomic world and kind of the political sphere gives me a lot of reasoning or value in those goods as well. So to be eloquent about it and not be two-sided. Let's see here. We got Yave Canela. Did any other hear how BlackRock bought stakes in the top 4 Bitcoin mining farms? I think they are trying to build a position before the ETF approval. Yave, absolutely. We've been talking about that heavily, and we've been talking, me and BJ particularly have been bringing up the potential that BlackRock might push the market down to get better entry points before their ETF is even opened up, right? That would make a lot of logical sense if you're able to control markets to that degree. 2, let everyone know, hey, this is coming, right? And then, a delay, price crash, right?
I'm not mad. More
buying
time to
all
buy.
the Bitcoin, right? They're
More
buying all
time
the
to
Bitcoin.
buy.
And, if they get that lower entry point, it makes their investors more money. It helps them kind of recoup losses that they've experienced in the ESG-based investments, ESG meaning the climate-based investments that aren't producing the kind of profits that they need to actually outpace inflation, right? That's the whole game here, outpacing inflation, whether you're a retail or a institution. And they very much so look at those over year metrics, over 5-year metrics, over the 10-year metrics. They have a long time frame in mind when they're looking at where they're moving their capital. So absolutely, we did cover the 4 out of the 5 largest mining firms in the United States are heavily invested into by BlackRock, giving just another piece of information in the overall puzzle of where the world of finance is going. You can see BlackRock is positioning themselves to control this scenario. And then beyond that, we look at the potential for different upgrades to the actual algorithm. And then within that, hardware prices could potentially 5 years, 10 years from now, we could, be in a situation where Bitcoin is in danger of being centralized because all of a sudden the miners and the capacity to actually mine the Bitcoin become $100,000 a piece. So then you do have a form of centralization into, again, oligarchs, which is what we don't want in general. If you're into the baseline of crypto ethos, it's about decentralization. It's about power to the people and equalizing our power as a whole people against these centralized institutions, which would really kind of got a lock hold on society in general right now. But that is starting to show cracks. We are seeing people kind of realizing this and finding things for themselves that better their own lives and can, kind of build positively from there. We got Stephen West in there. Thoughts on Render and Solana. Definitely like Render. Now, Solana, it's about price for me and Solana. I mean, really, it's about price for them on both of those projects. I will take a look at Render right now. I do feel in general that there's still more pain to come. But as we said, with this DCA pattern, I mean, let's just look at, this graph again, just real quick. I just want to touch on this. These upswings, you feel like you missed out, right? If you haven't been DCAing, you see this thing, you feel like you missed out. So DCAing is a good way to stay in the market and, getting your exposure to projects that are actually looking solid, that you believe in, larger for the blow off top, so you're ready to sell. Before I want to look at, different altcoins like Render, I'm going to take a look at that in a second here. I'm going to go over to this different, where is it? Not this guy. I'm going to get into that later on. Let me see here. Here it is. Okay, so from their peaks, ADA, DOT, and Avalanche and Solana are down about the same amount. And then the blue line at the top is Bitcoin for comparison. Okay, so this is something that is a sneaky. When we're in, it's sneaky. You know what I mean? Like, we are always in crypto Twitter. We're always seeing new projects being talked about, and then it gets a lot of hype and all this stuff. But then it goes back down, while Bitcoin seems to relatively remain like the strong portion of the market, along with Ethereum to a strong degree right now. I'm having a hard time even calling Ethereum an altcoin anymore. But this is after the last cycle peak. So you have Bitcoin obviously coming back down, cooling off here.
Poor Solana. Look at Solana.
Yeah, I know.
Golly.
So Solana is the teal color, and but this was FTX. This was the connection with the potential arbitrage through Alameda. A lot of questions came up, and then the FUD about the blockchain stopping. I think it was up to like 7 times the blockchain stopped. Okay, but in general, when it's working, it works really fast, and a lot of NFTs found their homes there. But then yet Solana also experienced the pain of the attention from NFTs kind of leaving the room for a moment here. And so you see that these altcoins in comparison to Bitcoin are just getting trashed right now. But if you go back to overall markets, like here's your Bitcoin all time. And this is just clear. Everyone's familiar with this graph, right? So it's just for reference. And then you go and look at what Cardano did. Let's just take a look at what Cardano did. In just its general life cycle, much more velocity on that upswing. So if you know what you're doing, you know that the tech is good, that the product is good, that the use case is good, that the narrative is there, and that you're at the right time, the velocity of being in Cardano is much more explosive than being in Bitcoin at certain times. But then again, sometimes it pays. Well, we'll get into that one later. Sometimes it pays to be in Bitcoin for a long time. And honestly, if you're seeing and you feel strongly about a big correction coming, then potentially it might be time to tether up and then expand your holdings once the market comes back down. And so I want to talk about, Solana being a good thing to buy, but I definitely, it's all about price. Like, let's see here. Solana, I was feeling like I want to shoot from the hip and feel like we have a potential to hit $13, but I want to look at this overall.
I'm so down bad on Solana.
You're so down?
I hate to even admit it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I bought it like $160.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That
you
happens,
live
man.
and you learn. You live and you learn, okay?
That's the lesson.
There was a lot of hype around it. It was pumping a bunch, I never sold.
I think that $12 is attainable if we get a good pullback on Bitcoin. Now, in general, we had, you can pull my screen down. We had kind of a terrible wick. I shared on my Twitter that there was just maybe one of the nastiest wicks for, I think it was the weekly or the monthly that I was looking at on Phoenix last night. or actually it's this morning. Yeah, here it is. So this is right before we dumped, actually, and this did not spark joy. So this is why I felt like the day was going to be red. Okay, we had that's an actual just full wick. It's not even like any hard-sided candle. This is this weekly, and when you have basically no solid bar within that means to me in my hillbilly trading mind that this is going to get wrecktown. You had MACD crossing over. It's not looking pretty. Here's just a close-up on that. So it didn't spark joy. That's why in general I didn't feel like it was going to be too strong. And in Solana, and all these other, altcoins that we're looking at, I am looking for Bitcoin. We're talking about Evan Aldo was bringing up 22. I was thinking, I don't think that 20 is so much on the table. I'm still feeling like 22 to 23 is going to be the spot where we find a home here, right in this range right here where this chop is. Because we have quite a bit of bear market to make it through, and I could see us definitely finding boredom over the next few months within just the people that ride the hype and all the excitement, right? It's a moment where if you're not nearing the halving, obviously the halving is April 2024, so it's getting kind of close, and it'll move pretty quickly over the holiday season, but I think that a $23,000 to $22,000 Bitcoin is very much so obtainable in that regard. And with that, if Solana is sitting at $19 right now, we see the velocity of Solana when things go wrong. It's much faster, and it's much deeper. And honestly, like it's been a pretty good fighter through the accumulation market. I will not say anything bad about that, but it went from $32 down to $12 in a hot second. So you got to keep cognizant of these things. It even went down to $9. I'm saying $12, $13 is reasonable if we pull back down to the $22,000, $23,000 Bitcoin level. And that is what I'm talking about when it comes to, we always are talking about generational buying opportunities and how to really kind of multiply your gains, even if you're just spot trading, even if you're just buying and holding, and then noticing the velocity on, these different altcoins and how they would react in general to a pullback on Bitcoin is really important to know when it's time to either put the pressure up on the DCAing process, or if you're like me, you're more kind of seasonally DCAing, then that it's your season, that it's time to get into it. So I always keep those things in mind when I'm looking at different projects for sure. Let's see here. And then, this I want to talk about. I might not hang on this too much. I'll keep it kind of light for today. But this is just from Thomas Farrer. Bitcoin is the next world reserve currency, and it's at the end of its cycle, the final monetary revolution. So this is just a kind of a scope of the past world reserve currencies and how long their life cycles lasted. First, you had the Dutch world reserve currency. Then you had the British, and they each lasted around 250 years. And then now we're in the United States. We are statistically at the end of that life cycle. But with this technological advancement of Bitcoin being available for the U.S. to move into as it enters this downslope, and really you're going to have BRICS and a lot of other nations vying for their time in the spotlight. China feels like it's their turn to really, kind of be seen as a world superpower, the world superpower. And I think that the United States is going to leverage the power and the upswing of Bitcoin for its benefit in the long run. Now, is it going to be a peaceful, kind of interaction between China and the United States on this tug of war? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Now, there is a hope that it may not be so much kinetic as cyber attacks, things of that nature. These different nations utilizing the technology to actually arbitrage each other financially or, infrastructurally, rather than the kinetic version of what we've seen in World War I and World War II, where, it gets very, very ugly. So I could see the United States trying to extend its life cycle as these two things come to a meeting point in general. And that's just kind of like my mind framework for where things are going. Bitcoin is definitely showing strength for Grayscale, obviously, after the slight win at the SEC earlier this week. And I'm just bringing this chart up because we did see a very, very deep discount on Grayscale earlier this year. Let's see here. It was down to right about 50%, like just under a 50% Bitcoin discount through the Grayscale Trust. Obviously, there was a lot going on with DCG, and I believe it was Gemini that was wrapped up in some funds that, I don't believe that's actually solved yet. But as we see the increase in price in Bitcoin, their problems get lesser and lesser. So just wanted to bring that up for a lot of people that, are looking at different trusts or different things like that. That window looks like it's closing. And we felt like, Grayscale was likely going to be able to weather the storm at this baseline where Bitcoin had been, ranging 17K to 15K. We felt like that was the bottom just from the cost of mining. And it looks like it's kind of how it's going. So just another quantification make me feel better about the bellwether, where we've been telling our bit squad here in the basement where I think things are going. It just feels good to see things happening like that. I mean, not good on the other end. But here's Janet Yellen.
Oh no.
I'm not gonna play this video. I can't stand listening to her talk. But this Yellen was being questioned about China suddenly dumping $900 billion in treasuries due to the war. If you understand, the U.S. has already been preparing for this event, which is why they're restricting the dollar supply by destroying crypto exchanges, raising interest rates, and having a $2.5 trillion reverse repo process waiting. Reverse repos, we've talked about them before. Basically, the government repossessing treasuries because they're not producing the amount of yield that these investors are looking for to beat out inflation rises. So if everyone is selling U.S. treasuries at a fire sale price, the U.S. will simply buy up all of its own debt with the skyrocketing dollar. Okay. You can't default on your own debt if you own most of it, thus resetting the cycle of the U.S. debt being the most stable in the world. And this is the chaotic linchpin that the United States has right now. And it's quite a thing to watch.
Makes sense. Wow, what a great
really
idea.
does.
I know. And, just to quantify why they're doing these things, this is from Crypto Rover. Since 2020, the U.S. Central Bank has issued almost 80% of the total US dollars in circulation. This is why we need Bitcoin.
Jeez.
They have created 80% of all dollars in circulation over the past 3 years. Okay, so when you look and you think about that metric comparatively to this, right? They're printing and they're creating this liquidity to try and slow this process, falling right into the laps of Bitcoin as they do it, because I see Bitcoin as an inevitable solution. The proof of work and the proof of energy spent, you cannot get around the value of that. That is where intrinsic value of all things really always has been found. So the difficulty in pulling salt out of the ground, the difficulty in mining gold or lithium or cobalt, that's where the value is. Obviously, you can see massive organizations pad down that cost like we see with cobalt and lithium. But, in general, that's where I think, and yes, you can kill the US dollar. It's still to be determined who's going to come out on the top of this tussle. I am leaning towards the US will probably do so, though. So it will absolutely, it'll absolutely be TBD on that side. But, I have my personal opinion about it, and fantastic video. I think it's Gary's Guzzler. Yes, fantastic name. Love it. Let's see here. We have some other things going on. I want to go into Oprah real quick, though. Hold on.
Oh, no.
We're going there.
You get a car, and you get a car.
No, not
and you
this
get a
time.
car.
Hannah,
Yes.
not this time.
I mean, it's awful what happened in Maui, right?
Yeah.
There's no denying. It was absolutely terrible to see that place burn. I actually grew up in a town that, if you remember the Marshall Fire, that was all over the news, I think a year or two ago. Seeing your hometown burn incomplete is just absolutely crazy. I know from personal experience. And, is what happened in Maui, was it lasers? Was it not lasers? I'm not qualified to answer that question. I've seen a lot of people highlighting that blue is reflected from lasers. We've seen some great points from the Nictator. It's probably a little bit more sophisticated than a laser system that'd be defeated by blue. But regardless, the land was burned, the homes were burned. And now we see, BlackRock moving into the area, looking to set up a relief fund, a rebuilding fund,
What?
because
No way.
they're there to save you, right? They're there to save you.
Save you.
Yeah, save you from doing well. What we got? Owen Allen,
Save
Dom
you.
Wen. Owen, you got a major fan in the chat there. You know what I mean? So Oprah and The Rock open up a relief fund for the Maui wildfire victims that accepts Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay. And keeping in mind, Oprah owns more land than the Hawaiian government.
She's about to own more, probably.
Yeah, she is.
There's some tea.
So let's see here. The crypto community is rallying behind the Maui community with a relief fund endorsed by A-list celebrities such as Oprah Winfrey and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, now accepting cryptocurrency donations. Now, let's try to see where this fund is going to. I wonder
That's
if
what I say. I was like,
Yeah.
is it actually going to like a charity or is it going
Yeah,
to one
that's
of
what
our
I'm
personal
curious.
wallets?
That's what I'm curious about. Every adult resident who lives in the affected area was displaced by the wildfires in Lahaina and Kula is eligible to receive $1,200 per month to help them through this period of recovery from WWE World. What is that? That's like the World. I can't remember. It used to be the wrestling thing.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I was about to say it's the
John
wrestling
Cena.
thing, you know, with John Cena.
No,
and-
no. They
You
took it
can't
from. I'm going to click on this
see me?
ticker. I'm going to click on World. No, it took me right to the. Look at
Okay.
that. They linked it straight to the World Wrestling.
It's real.
That's no. Oh my God.
Makes sense.
Is this the real alpha here? Here's a picture of Oprah with Dwayne Johnson. Now, interesting story about Oprah. When I got married, I was at the Beaumont Inn. And she actually stayed in the room that I had my honeymoon in. So
Wow.
that was pretty nice. Yeah.
What?
Well, no, not with us. Yeah. That would have been
I
weird.
I can go a certain direction right now, and I'm not going to.
Please don't.
I got
No, but I saw her signature on the. You have to sign this piece of paper for the room that I was, I got for the night or for our honeymoon of the week, and there was Oprah with this gigantic O. She drew her O huge. All Hands and Hearts, a disaster relief organization, is also pooling both crypto and fiat donations to support the Maui residents affected by the fires. Now, in general, I like when I see people reaching out a hand to help. I would prefer that it went to actual locals and not A-list celebrities that own more land than the government themselves in that certain jurisdiction. So that's what I would say about that. It's a nice thought, but you can funnel your money and those types of donations to more direct local sources. I think I didn't even check. I think we did pretty good on helping out Kelly Kellum's brother.
Why do you think they're accepting it in crypto?
Well, maybe they're just trying to open up the use case. You know, it could be because you're really not going to get a massive amount of extra donations. Maybe, I don't know. Crypto people have been doing pretty good over the last few years. That might open up the talking points and just, in general, crypto bros are kind of doing better than regular fiat bros at the moment. And institutions aren't everywhere, right? It's mostly day-to-day people that you see. Institutions are just big baskets of money. So they're potentially opening up the crypto side.
Is Oprah into money laundering?
Oh my God.
You heard it here first.
They're washing.
A celebrity
Look
into
under
money
your chair.
laundering?
There's a Bitcoin under your chair. Oh man, that could be a thing. That could be a thing. But yeah, interesting stuff to see. I really feel like it was. There's a degree of nefariousness that went on with that, whether it be lasers, whether it be the power was actually left on, whether the emergency systems just were purposely not put off. There's many questions on why things happened the way they did, right? And you have many local accounts of being blocked into areas that were being burned. Those questions and those videos have not been openly addressed by the government right now, which is super fishy. If they're not willing to, this is why you got to go this way and get around the bridge. If there's not a clear reason why, that makes me ask more and more questions about the overall situation. And it is okay to ask questions about situations because it makes you a more informed decision maker in life.
Just
right?
don't let it detract from the people who have been affected.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people.
Absolutely.
A lot of people who,
Absolutely.
not only have lost their homes, but a lot of people that, family members and things like a lot of people died. Majority of people lost everything. So don't let any of the. I know there's a lot of like conspiracy stuff going on. I don't know if you can call it a conspiracy anymore. Like a lot of stuff is fishy about it.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, people need help.
Absolutely,
really
man.
bad.
Absolutely, and they need help, especially because there's been even reports that insurance claims aren't being fulfilled because of zoning specifications.
That's crazy.
Right? So you have old school houses that are now, sorry, you weren't zoned correctly, yet we gave you insurance, but we're not going to pay you that insurance.
That's wild.
Right? Yep. So you could pay your money to them for that service, but then they get to retroactively decide if they're going to help you with it or not. Right? So, yeah, that's pretty brutal right there. I wanted to, God, I feel like so much, I keep getting drawn back to the charts because I'm feeling like ready to buy. This is about it though. This is kind of the whole emotional process is staying focused, and trusting my overall thesis. I do think that there's more downward action to be coming. And we've talked about just the historical nature of September's in this exact time frame. If you lay it out in terms of 4-year cycles, there should in a statistical mindset, be a red month coming in September. To the degree, we don't know that yet, but I do feel like there's going to be a little bit better of a buying opportunity coming up in the short term. And as these things come up, we're getting our hands are rubbing together. We're getting ready for a nice way to get into different projects that we've been looking at. We got this tweet from DeFi Investor, just the overall week in DeFi. I think, our thesis on DeFi being a big thing since centralized exchanges failed. So many people recently were paying attention to DeFi. And that's just the way it is. I think that people are going to vie for a little bit more decentralized nature for their transactions, so they don't have that central point of control. So we got Libra Finance launching Libra V2 today. Libra V2 is a stablecoin protocol that comes with multiple collateral options and tokenomics upgrades and much more. Polygon announced the launch of Polygon CDK. This enables users to launch their ZK-powered L2s, and L2s built with the CDK are seamlessly interoperable to solve fragmented liquidity problems. I think L2s, that's a safe narrative. I like the L2 narrative. I think that there's a lot of reasonings why it is going to exist. Not only exist, but actually have a real good use case. I'd long drew any day of the week. Wow.
I saw that.
Wow. Pepe Multisig sent $15.7 million worth of Pepe to centralized exchanges, likely for selling. This happened because of an internal dispute. So not boding joy, not sparking joy. I love you, Pepe. I hope you return because, God, I love that. What do we got from Manawak? Yeah, will be less me over the coming months. Starting longer hours, more days. Not a problem, Manawak. I know you're a hardworking dude out there making our stuff happen. He's I think he operates cranes or something massive like that, but he's putting the world together for you. So be thankful.
Thank you.
We love you.
Yes, hardworking people should always get a lot of adoration.
Some of these comments, man.
What's that? Oh,
I'm not reading them.
Okay, please don't. Avalanche has released a teleporter, new cross-chain messaging protocol. Teleporter is open now for testing, so you see a little bit of expansion with Avalanche. Another project I'll probably have to go back into the charts because Nick's given me FOMO. PancakeSwap has launched on Ethereum Layer 2 Linea. Linea is a newly launched Layer 2 that is built by the team behind MetaMask. So that's probably a pretty big thing. I think PancakeSwap is going to be a stayer into the next bull market. Do not sleep on this protocol because it just refuses to die. Mantle, another one that we've been looking at, proposal to use $238 million of its treasury funds to support ecosystem dApps is being discussed right now. The proposal is to deposit these funds in various dApps to bootstrap liquidity. So interesting, just spreading out the love, making sure things work and have good liquidity behind them, which is always nice to see. Always check the liquidity of any projects that you're thinking about getting into as well. If you see Diba Inu, Latata Doge, or whatever kind of meme coin it is, make sure that there's liquidity before you hop into the pool. God, that was a good one. Unibot, the popular TG trading bot, has added support to Base, and this is the first Layer 2 integration. So you just see this Layer 2 stuff all over the place. They're just scaling it out. They're making it faster. They're making it interoperable. Chainlink has announced its launch of staking V0.2 in Q4 2023. The upgrade will come with several improvements, including enhanced staker flexibility. Seen a lot of buzz from Chainlink over the last month. And now we see this little tussle between the XRP community and the Link Marines about who's going to get the whole Swift pie. I think you're both going to get a little chunk of it. So everyone just calm down. It's going to be okay. There's plenty of liquidity for international settlement payments to go around for everyone in this market. Keep in mind, we are in development stage right now. Obviously, we have Bitcoin and Ethereum pretty well proven. XRP's been around for a long time. Doge has been around for a long time, but we are in the experiment, research, and development phase of this technology. You're in early, you're paying attention early, you're savage, you're going to do well as long as you control your emotions. Zeta is a leverage trading protocol on Solana that has launched Zeta V2. New integration comes with a major UI upgrade. If you like this post, check them out. This is definitely a great guy to follow, DeFi investor. I think this is posted in the OG chat, so make sure you're in our Discord as well to catch all this news as it breaks, because it's pretty exciting to see. What you got there? Barrelict.
Drew, you're supposed to check out the render chart.
Oh,
I saw a reminder in the chat.
Render.
There's so many coins.
I got you, Steven.
There's so many coins. Let's see here.
Oh,
Render.
hey, I got a hammer. Or, I mean, wrench.
Hannah's got a hammer.
The reasons why I'm willing and open to looking at this chart is because I think AI is going to be a very, very strong narrative.
We talked about the other day. This is nice.
Yeah. I mean, you used Render. Did you use Render?
When I was on the show the other day, we talked about AI tokens, and Render was one of them.
Yep, and you use AI all the time.
I use AI a lot.
Yes, it's a very useful tool, and Aaron's actually one of the people, I mean, many of us are using it to leverage. He's kind of been the star and shining about leveraging the technology for his benefit. Takes a little sweat off his brow when we're getting work done, and you got to get it done. It's a pretty powerful tool, so keep that in mind. And now AI is just on the beginning of its media push. You have to think about that. Mainstream media has not really been showing, oh my gosh, you can create videos with AI, right? They haven't been showing regular people like, the people at the gas station, the people at the grocery store. They have not shown them the full potential of this technology. So yes, Hannah Hughes she's creeping in the chat.
There might be two Hannahs.
There's two Hannah Hughes?
There might be.
There's a fake Hannah?
Oh my God.
I thought that was you.
There's an imposter.
I've been scammed.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, but I did say that Render and NVIDIA. I own like a little bit of NVIDIA, a little bit of AMD. I think it's just fun to watch them because that's like GPU processors and AI all goes hand in hand. And then
Absolutely.
I think Render is just like fun to watch as well, like along with those.
That's a big
and like
brain
pay
move.
attention to what they're doing.
Absolutely. You're looking at the
Collectively.
hardware, the production of it, and the technology behind it. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that. Don't sleep on that kind of knowledge. And Render in general. Now, I think that this trove, I think that somewhere in this is reasonable. I am sorry to be scary, but if we have a $22,000 Bitcoin and no real AI narrative going on yet, we've only experienced one push by mainstream media to really talk about this technology of AI in general. If we experience a big pullback on Bitcoin, I'd be looking. My range is to buy Render. Basically between 75 cents. I'm comfortable in between this range. I'm comfortable between 75 cents to about $1.25. That's what I'm looking for on Render. So actually almost to my buying point, it's had a pretty rough month. Let's see here, down 26% on the month. The yearly up 150%, right? Always nice to keep perspective. In general, it's up by 3,000% though. So my God, got in
early.
Yeah,
Oof.
if you got in early on that one, you're absolutely feeling swimmy. But yeah, I think that there's going to be some chop in here. What's this trove at about 88 cents? See right there, yeah, 75 cents. And to really, to be greedy and make sure that I make really good gains on it, I'm probably going to cap my tolerance for purchasing this between 75 cents to $1, just to make sure that those are really nice gains once the bull market comes. And yes, this is a project that I do plan to hold into the bull market, right? And in general, accumulation markets only last for so long. I'm a dad of a gigantic family, so the holidays are going to go by faster than I can even breathe. And I don't think that I have any more bandwidth for following the markets as closely as I have been between this range as we approach the holidays. That's my own personal capabilities where I like to put my focus in. I don't want to be staring at charts day in and day out and missing out on everything in my life that's going on that I'm doing all of this for, because that's the whole focus, is to better their lives with this. So, better life means that I'm involved, I'm paying attention to them and not completely consumed with charts. And that's the value of kind of just spot buying and DCAing. You're not really stressing or sweating overnight if something were to go wrong.
Thanks, Drew, for the insight.
Let's see here.
Are the Hannahs fighting in the chat?
Are they?
I would say they should have a boxing match, but I would be afraid that the fake Hannah is actually a man. So
that's what that did come to
The fake
mind.
Hannah
Put
could
the
be
gloves
one of us
on, or
in
should
this
we
room
just run it?
right now.
To put the gloves on.
I think we should just.
The fake Hannah could be
Get off
any
the
of
phone.
us.
Oh my God. Oh, I had an interesting data point I wanted to bring up now. This actually, I should have brought this up when we were talking
this
about
little hair?
the United States trying to retain that world reserve currency status. China's getting a little feisty, wanting their spot at the podium, right? And I saw this from Whale Chart last night. This is from ICBC. China's largest bank is about to hit a record low valuation here.
Bro, the chat's on one today.
Oh man, are they getting in it? Oh man,
It's just good. It's great stuff.
yeah, it's good stuff. You guys are the best. This is ICB shares trade near record low valuation, and this is from 2007 all the way down the hill. And this is essentially what you get when you have a government controlled bank that will print them out of all their problems and basically devalue everything around you simultaneously. And this is their industrial and commercial banks. Now, the industrial portion, very important. A lot of people think that China is just going to retain the status of being the world's manufacturer, which currently it is. But I see India coming up on its heels in a big way. It's going to be interesting to see how India handles kind of being number 2 to China. While, what was that?
Owen,
You're fired. You're done.
Did Owen just
Get
break
out.
something?
you just dropped
What was
like
that? Gigantic water bottle. You have like a 10-pound water bottle there.
chat. I can't, man. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Drew. Keep
No,
going.
it's okay. It's going to be interesting to see.
They got me laughing.
My thought is India is catching up to China as far as its manufacturing capabilities and output and requests. So you have more countries relying on India to produce their goods. India is catching up. So it's going to be very interesting to see if China is willing to give them an equal spot at the table when it comes to being the world reserve currency on the BRIC side. Because definitely you will see two insular operations, mode of operandi over the next few years. You're going to see NATO, UN, and the US dollar on one side. You're going to see BRICS. But within that, there's a little bit of tension, right? You have Brazil. It's a little bit more trying to be more freedom based. They have a kind of a feisty population that is getting more demanding on personal freedom, such as Second Amendment. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays into the overall control of the digital yuan and the CBDC when it is rolled out. And by God, it's a coming. But within that, obviously, India and their powerhouse stance that they are building upon themselves. So I watch these things within banks in China. If many people don't know that the banks in China are directly controlled by their government. Now, our banks here, you have a degree, like you'll have credit unions, which are a little bit more autonomous and operate on their own. But then many, many banks are entwined closely with the Federal Reserve and those Fed funding rates. Talked about it earlier this week. Check out our video on Wednesday. I went in depth into the potentials for our problems in the United States and our banking sector. Nearly insolvent en masse. So make sure to go check that video out, because I don't have I went off on it in that video. It's too much to get into right now, but essentially the ground of which the United States mid and small bank system stands upon is shaky. It's cracking. There are cracks in the walls that are showing. It's going to be interesting to see if we will have a quantitative easing process to fix these problems. If we have, in my opinion, we are going to have another lockdown to actually put a Band-Aid and put a kind of a halt so that they can print more and make the problem go away temporarily, as we saw over the last few years. God, this chat is just great. You guys are awesome, man. You guys are awesome. The support means absolutely a ton. So yeah, I mean, we got the best crew out there. Let's see what else I got here.
Drew,
X,
did
what's
you
up?
you filmed a video with Bobby on KYC, right?
Yes, we did. We have a KYC video coming out as well. And that's more just a foundational understanding of what KYC is in general. I think that it was necessary. Now, when we first made the blockchain bunker, we had a video about digital dictatorship when the channel was first getting going. Because keep in mind, we started this stream, we had 100 viewers on, maybe 60. We built this thing in the depths of the bear market, all the way up from that level. But we made a video about digital dictatorship, and it really kind of showed the forest through the trees too quickly, I felt like. The KYC video is going to show you what tools are being implemented to actually create this infrastructure of a digital dictatorship. So I wanted to make sure to cover the KYC in a very blanket statement, but highlighted way so that people could understand the implications of storing all of your information and keeping all of your information kind of open source to these companies. They are at risk of cyber attacks. They are actually targets of cyber attacks, and you're leaving your information in these baskets, these honeypots of definite targets of arbitrage. I used to work in the power industry, another potential target, and not potential, actual target of cyber attacks. And the degree of cyber information security that you need working in this regard is hefty. I will say that absolutely, just a blanket statement, much more than just your average job. And seeing our data going to these exchanges that are centralized, now those are also baskets of basically it's a killing field. If you are fighting with these countries, your information's at risk in those systems. And look where we are right now. Right? It's not peaceful. So keep that in mind. And kind of on that subject, X, formerly Twitter, I still call it Twitter.
I still call it Twitter.
I can't stop. To collect biometric and employment data. Oh,
Say
goody.
what? I'm
They
out.
already have our bank accounts. They have your first and last name if you're verified. They have your phone number if you have two-factor authentication turned on and you're verified. They have your email. They're gonna get more. They're gonna have your iris of your eyes.
Yeah.
Crimson Caravan, the comment, we don't have to fully address that, but he says in Texas they're requiring certain websites, if you know what I mean, to KYC, which just that's just an interesting point that you make there, because so you have to be of a certain age to go to sites like that or similar sites, right? So if you're not of age and you KYC, you're just not going to be able to if you're not 18, 21, whatever it is. Think about how that could apply to every other situation. A driver's license, you're not going to be not that you should, but you're not going to be able to go out if you're under 21 or now there's things are going to get more,
your car won't drive you to the bar
literally,
if you're 18.
you are not able to do it. There is no getting around anything, and that goes into social credit score.
Yes, it does.
I would not want a KYC for that site.
Absolutely.
I'd be way too ashamed.
And that's just another aspect. I actually hadn't thought about that yet. But when I talk about digital dictatorship, that's every aspect of your lives. That's what's so scary about a CBDC being controlled by a nefarious group of hawks at the top of a podium, right? Because as I've personally found that they really don't seem to be meaning well for their general population. And it's disheartening to think that people are just going to stay asleep and just accept this new CBDC system as just another faster form of payment. This is so exciting. Well, just wait until we have, another, massive climate disaster, and everyone keeps harping on the fact that it's climate change, and then you are the problem because you're trying to drive your car to work the next day. Might get funky real quick. And X we brought that up, collecting your biometric data. Liberty Vittert, that's a rough name, professor of the practice of data science at Washington University in St. Louis, said this move is in line with X's attempt to establish a more targeted and individual experience for users and rival platforms such as LinkedIn. That's an interesting take.
It's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, again, that's you're applying for jobs through Twitter, right? Now, if you apply for a job, potentially every tweet that you put out is going to be accessible to this new company. And already, right, you have companies scrubbing your information, looking at your history. And so if they're trying to mirror LinkedIn in that regard, that's probably going to be part of the application process, and they're going to see if you're a naughty boy. And right now, Twitter, X, I'm running open field wild stallion because I can say whatever I want on X for the time being, but it did not used to be that way. If I had said the same things on Twitter, and I did, my entire account got deleted, right? So what is okay now was not okay just a few short years ago on Twitter. And then a few years before that, it was okay before that. So it's been a moving goalpost over the past 6-9 years. You have to keep cognizant of that. They're building out infrastructure for your job applications, and what you do in general is going to be accessible to all of the companies that are potentially interested in hiring you, right? So that's a big thing to think about. And like Neuralink, or the whole idea of chips in your brains, we've gone down that rabbit hole a few times. No, I'm not getting one, and yes, I will die an organic being, but I know many people that are going to get it, and I can listen to them and all their reasonings for why. And it doesn't raise my blood or anything like that. I've already made the decision internally, and I can understand other people's opinions of why they might want it. Paraplegics, people that can't really experience the outside world in the same regard as a healthy person. So there are applications and things like that I can understand, and that makes sense. But Star Trek covered Neuralink in 1970 or something. It was like 1970 or 1980. That episode of Star Trek where they're just beating down people and putting this chip in their brain and making sure that they comply and that they're malleable, just kind of sits a little weird. And at times, Elon feels a little bit too good to be true. Almost like he's gathering everyone that's freedom-based in one spot for an easy picking, potentially. So always keep cognizant of that, and don't be easy to pick, right? Be a hard-sided, sovereign individual. Become ungovernable by creating your own food, holding your own money, and getting involved with your local community so that you have local strength, because that is one of the strongest things on earth right there. There's power to the people still. You just need to realize it. The company told BBC X will give the option to provide their government ID combined with a selfie to add a verification.
Oh, good.
What do you think, Aaron?
Apple already did that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I actually participated in it. They have a thing now with your Apple Wallet where you can put your Georgia driver's license in and have a virtual driver's license.
Yeah.
You had to confirm it with a picture and everything. And then like a week later, I got a piece of mail from Department of Driver Services, and they were like, "Hey, just letting you know you're successfully enrolled in this thing."
Hell no.
Gosh.
That's okay. I remember seeing that news actually, that Apple was allowing you to add a license to your wallet, and I was like, fuck. Like, I was like, 2 years ago, I would have been absolutely petrified. I would have been like, it's happening. I would have been so scared.
Gosh.
But there's so much news, it brushed over, and
go
nobody
to
really
my
talked
camera.
about it.
Oh my gosh.
That's scary.
Go to
Yeah,
Adam's
give him a
camera.
zoom. Full zoom.
On his license, don't do that.
No, it doesn't show anything.
Well, it's a little overexposed.
That's your selfie picture right there.
Whoa.
Scary.
Oh no, what is that?
That's their
It's
little
a peach.
virtual license. Like
It's
What?
a peach.
Okay.
there you go.
Okay.
How does that
Like,
work? You like
you can scan it at like I don't know, but at like airports and stuff.
But that's how it's gonna.
He's
That's
like,
that thing-
"Oh,
there's no-
now it's on my
I got it.
phone."
I got it for
I have a
airport
picture
travel.
of you on there's interesting.
Well, you had to submit a picture, so I think it's just like built in.
Yeah.
So wherever you scan it,
It'll show your picture.
Oh.
I got it because I
okay.
travel a lot, so I got it for airports and stuff. Like not having to get out my ID at every stop is gonna be kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're worried about it, then
I think I'll
Then
pass.
don't.
I mean, the worry it can be.
they've already got my thumbprint in my
Long term.
eyeballs. Like,
That's the thing is, like the worry, it can be paralyzing at times if you think about all the different things. Like, right, you have a cell phone, right? You have a webcam on your computer. You have all these systems of control. But really, what I always boil it down to is these are tools. And if we just ensure that we don't have a psychopath driving us off the edge of a cliff at 100 miles an hour, then the tools can be used for good. Just like a vehicle can be used for good. Just like a hard iron with sights.
Hudson, my phone's already always out. That thing stays in my hand. You know that.
Yeah, I know. And there's a lot of misinfo about like the electronics. I saw this video about a guy asking Alexa who's going to win the election, right? And Alexa's like, "You will not have an election because there's going to be a war with China."
Oh my God, shut up.
And then I asked mine because I have one. I'm not afraid. I got my Fed loves me. He loves me. He's my best friend. I was like, "Who's going to win the election?" And they're like, "Joe Biden is in the lead in the polls." And I was like, "All right, so at least you're giving me an answer, but you're giving me the wrong answer." So,
Or is it the answer you don't want to hear?
I mean, I think I kind of difficult that guy garnered 81 million votes, most in
see.
history.
We'll see.
That's a tough sell for me. And also the statistical improbability, really impossibility of the vote increased at 3 a.m. the night of that process. So there's that. But here we are. We have this biometric data coming. Musk gathering us all into a nice little pen so he knows where all the naughty boys are. Going to be setting up this kind of system of control, which he already really is there. He has an ambition to turn X into an everything app and a one-stop shop for various only services as part of the addition or extra features. Don't know what the heck's going on there. And extra updates to privacy policy to enable them may well continue. So hopefully it becomes an optional thing, but as we saw, I mean, think about it, like MySpace comes and Facebook comes and people really aren't thinking about what they're putting on their personal profiles. Then they go apply for a job. And then all of a sudden your hiring manager's like, hey, you posted this thing like 4 years ago and that kind of doesn't sit well with me. So we're not hiring you even though you're qualified, right?
You'd be donezo, Drew.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Like, and especially during flu season, right? I was unhireable unless I was going into like, armed positions, basically armed positions, running my own business. I was basically cornered into those sectors because all the other, I come from HR, headhunting, building up, recruiting businesses and being involved with kind of the oversight of large commercial building projects. And in that sector, it's very corporatized and, those little mandates in basically just hard-sided demands. They weren't law, but these large institutions bent at the knee immediately. Probably actually they bent at the knee before they were even asked to because they were watching the news and they got all scared, right? And so then they start telling their employees to do these things ahead of it even coming. Then it comes, people like me get pushed out and I had to go find a way for myself to keep making money for my family. I had to, kind of rekindle the experience and skills that I had gained as a young man, building decks, building fences, doing construction, cutting houses down, and basically just open up a small business. And actually it was kind of pretty enjoyable, honestly. Like, it was nice to have a breath from the 9 to 5 day-to-day thing. I got paid really well for my time because I'm really good at it and it didn't take me much time to get fences built. And so the return on investment for time was great. But then you have different things that, it's all on you. And I could have kept doing that, but I was looking for a job where I could be part of something bigger, something that could be meaningful to the world. And then I found the Bit Squad. And then I found Hit Network. I made the move and came out here. I know. I always said that I would only work here or for Alex Jones, basically. That's like.
And you've met Alex Jones.
I have met Alex Jones.
I was there with you.
Dude, his hand was like shaking a baseball.
That man was as wide as he was tall.
He was.
Like, what in the world?
He was like, he was probably like, if he's sitting here, he'd probably be like that. That guy's a mountain, absolute mountain.
That was a crazy experience.
It was.
I forget about it, yeah.
Aaron, I need to hear Aaron say, bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Bless
when
your
you said
heart.
as wide as he was tall, I'm like, that sounds like an old Southern.
Oh, the
old
Southern will come
talk.
out of me sometimes, Hannah.
Yeah.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
It comes out. Well, on that note, I think it's, it's been a heck of a week. We've had an amazing time just kind of feeling the love over the last day. I really thank you in the Bit Squad for spreading that love, for the support. That's what we're here to do, support everyone, improve our lives with this advancing technology, make sure that we have stuff going right for our families and our loved ones. But at times when you see the markets dumping and, things kind of look grim, man, you just need to listen to a silly song making fun of yourself every now and again. So
We're gonna grass.
We're going to play this song, though, before we go out. You don't have audio.
When it should be me that you prioritize. Trying to get through, but it don't compute. Cause you're busy aiming for the dumb moon. You think I'm enthused, but I got some news for you. I don't care about your crypto, boy. Now that I'm not even one Bitcoin. CEO of being unemployed. I got nothing left to give, no, to another crypto boy.
That's amazing.
That
I
is
love
so-
that.
It's too good.
I love it.
No, see,
I don't care about your
dude,
crypto,
hold on.
boy.
That
We
song went
all know
viral.
I'm the least involved in the crypto stuff at all, probably in this office.
You're metamasking your feelings.
So
Me and Hannah saw her at VCon, and we were like,
I don't even know what that means, but that was funny. That was funny.
She released that a year ago. Let's see. Well,
she knew what she was doing.
Yeah,
she
she
release
knew
that
what
a
she
year
was
ago? That's Salem Elise, right? Is that who that is? I think that is.
Yeah.
It looks like it was released a year ago. Let's look at her TA. If she's telling you to get out of crypto a year ago, let's see here. Not so hot. Not so hot. Let's see here. Released it right at the end.
Oh, she did say CEO of being unemployed. That was pretty funny.
Oh, and then a bunch of people like
funny.
remix off and stuff. Whatnot. Drew, people are asking, show on Monday, or are we gonna? They gonna see us back on Tuesday?
We will be back on Tuesday. So
long weekend, baby.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna take a
baby.
long weekend. I'm gonna sleep
USA,
a
let's
lot.
go.
It's gonna be great. So go out there, like Aaron says, touch some grass.
Go
I'm
touch
gonna
some
go
grass.
move
Touch
a
grass.
building. I literally have to move a building when I get off here. So gonna go get that done like a true hillbilly. Ooh, look at him. He's been cutting it up. We got a gym. Whoa,
You got a gym.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, let's
She
see
got
that
some
thing
grass.
again.
Damn.
Yeah, but until next time, we will see you Tuesday and bid you adieu.
Bye, y'all.